I'm tired. I'm so fucking tired. I'm not trying to do anything fancy. I'm not trying to do anything special. I just want my menus to look good. That's all. I just want to go put this over here and this over here, and when I resize the screen, then move stuff around in a sensible way, and not like a fucking monkey on crack. And I don't understand. I don't understand this lock and anchor and how the containers are supposed to work. They don't seem to be doing what the documentation says they should be doing, and I just don't fucking understand. And I'm tired and I'm frustrated and anyway, hi there. It is just after 5 p.m. Time to show up. I'm showing up. I'm glad you showed up. I appreciate every single one of you. Do the little YouTube dance, like, comment, subscribe, all that happy horse shit, and let's shit in the box. I don't know what's going wrong here. That's the real frustrating thing. It's like if I could make sense of it, if I did a thing with the menus in my game and then I went, oh, it's not doing the thing that I thought it was going to do, but I could see what it is doing. That would be one thing, but I don't understand. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I do the thing and it doesn't work. And then I go to fix it. And when I go to fix it, I'm just not sure. I'm not sure what it is I'm supposed to do. And it doesn't seem very well documented and it doesn't seem very well implemented. And I've got these example projects that are like, here's how you build a decent menu system that looks good and that works well, and they look like dog shit. They're fucking awful. They get buttons that stretch the entire width of the screen. The fuck is wrong with you? Nobody wants that. Why did you do that? And you get these things that say extensible, reusable menu framework, and they're not localized. They don't have... It's tiring. It's tiresome. I'm very frustrated by it. And you run into stuff like that. This is an important part of the development process to be aware of, and you're going to run into it. That you're going to get to somewhere, and it's like, I've been working on making the menus look good for a week, and I thought, the week's long enough to make your menus look good. I can make a bunch of menus look good in a week. No, for some reason I can't. And I don't know what's wrong, and I don't know how to fix it, and how long is it going to take? Fuck if I know. How am I supposed to estimate how long this is going to take? I don't even know what the problem is. I've got to search for the problem until I find the problem, and then I've got to fix it. And chances are very good that fixing the problem is going to be like, oh, that's going to take like 20 minutes. But finding it? Figuring out how to... I don't even understand what's happening. I can't make sense of the way this model works on a hierarchical level. And I don't know if I'm fucking it up or if... I just don't fucking understand. And it's very frustrating. And you run into things like this, like on any project, and you're going to have stuff like this. You're going to be banging your head against the wall until the wall falls over and you're not banging your head against it anymore. And when you're early in the development process, in the creative fields, you run into these things more and more frequently. I run into them constantly when I'm trying to paint, when I'm trying to sculpt, when I'm trying to do like visual art. I constantly run into things and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I don't understand. And it feels like that. It feels like that's the whole time, man. It really does. It just feels like you start a project and it's I don't know all the way from beginning to end, and then you get to the end and you're looking at it and you're like, this is dog shit. But you put it away for a while and you come back to it in a week or so and you look at it and you go, actually, it's not bad. And you know, I think I can see a few problems and I can see how to fix them, and I'll go in and I'll do that. And then I have something that actually doesn't look horrible. It still doesn't look good. But I can see the progress. I can see that I'm moving forward. I can see that I'm getting something accomplished. And when you're in the middle of it, when you're in the thick of the problem, when you're trying to figure out what it is you need to do next, when you're looking for the next step, and the next step just isn't well defined. It's like, okay, the next step is to go from Paris to Munich. That's more than one step, dude. That's a whole fucking journey, and you have to find the halfway point on that journey, and you have to go, okay, how do I get there? Well, that's still more than one step. You got to take it down, take it down, take it down. And I don't know what the halfway point is. I can't find the halfway point to know where it is I'm supposed to be trying to go. It's just this wilderness and badlands, and I don't know what to do about it. You run into this less and less as you get farther along in your career, as you become more and more experienced. And because you run into it less and less, it becomes more and more frustrating, because shouldn't I be smarter than this? Shouldn't I be better than this? Shouldn't I like be able to figure this out? You definitely don't want to like tell the world that you don't know what the fuck you're doing. But I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I think it's important to tell people you don't know what the fuck you're doing, because we had a guy on the Discord a while back, and he was like, you know, I want to be able to code like the people I watch in tutorials. That's not going to happen, because that's fake. The way people code in tutorials is fake. They're writing code that they've written a dozen times before. It looks like they're very good at coding and they can go, here's the thing that you need to do, and I just immediately know the code that needs to do that. It's only because they've already gone back and forth down this same path over and over. Actual live coding is boring as shit. You've seen me do it. You've seen me do it live on screen, and I go, oh, wait, oh, yeah, I need to go back and fix, I need to go back and fix that. I need to do something. Fuck, I don't know. I'll just leave a comment here, and I'll go back and fix it later. Nobody actually just sits and writes the code and the code is done. I mean, you know what the code is, you know what the code needs to be. Like if you're making a menu system and you know this menu needs to load that scene, well, you could just write the code to call that scene. You get to a point where you know enough about what this thing needs to do that you can write the one line that it needs to have in it. But you're never going to write all your code like that. Most of your code is going to be staring at the screen and going, what am I supposed to do here? And then you write code that's incomplete. And then you add some comments on the part where you're like, I got to do some other stuff here, but I don't know what yet. And then you go back and you replace those comments with some code, but the code is wrong. So you take the code out and you put the comments back. And eventually you get some code in there that works. And if you're me, you then go back up to the beginning of this and go, this works, but it sucks and it's stupid and I did a bad job. And then you go back later on and maybe you fix it. Maybe you can improve it. You go back and you look at it and you stare at it and you go, I understand what the problem is. And you change it and you make it work. Nobody ever just sits and writes code. Writing the code isn't the bottleneck. It's never been the bottleneck. They're trying to convince you it is. They're going, hey, use Claude Code. It writes the code faster than you can. Does it know what the code's supposed to do faster than I do? No, you have to tell it that. Yeah, well, that's the part that I stare at for 3 weeks trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. So when you can write the code that does the thing that I spent 3 weeks figuring out in like 10 minutes, that's nice, I guess. It's faster than that. It'd be like 10 seconds. Hey, Claude, write code to do X, Y, Z. And writes the code that does X, Y, Z. There you go. Figuring out that you needed to do X, Y, Z. That's a long process. They keep trying to convince you to use the garbage farting computer machine, and they say it's the farting out of garbage that is the bottleneck. It's what you need is something to fart out the garbage. I don't need any garbage. I'm going to write like actual code. Well, you can convince the machine to fart out some garbage that looks just like the code. It's just like coincidentally it works the same as your code. Yeah, I don't care. By the time I understand the problem well enough to tell the computer to write the code, I can write the code. But you don't have to. You can have only like the most basic understanding of the problem that you're asking the machine to solve. Solving the problem is my actual fucking job. If I don't understand the problem, if I don't have that deep understanding of what the problem I'm solving is, I'm not doing my job. Oh, but the machine can do it for you. Yeah, but then the machine can take my job. Plus, it can't do that for you. If you understand that what you need for a particular situation is a hash map, you already don't need to write a hash map. There's a hash map class available for download. You can get that. One of the biggest problems we're running into, Brian Bucklew, the developer of Caves of Quud, was saying this the other day. He was saying that the player is going to use AI to look for bugs in your code. So you need to use AI to look for bugs in your code, because it's going to find all the same bugs for both of you. And you need to know what bugs it's going to find, because they are bugs. You do need to fix them. That's one of the things that really gets me about. People say the AI can find all of these different bugs. Well, it finds sloppy code. We have code that is very, very good at finding buffer overruns. And the garbage farting computer machine will find all of those buffer overruns in your code. I was a C++ programmer for so long that it is like hardwired into my soul that you don't overrun buffers. That you always, always, always check. So I saw this video not that long ago. They said, "Can you spot the problem with this code?" And it was some C++ code. And somebody was doing a buffer overrun check with an integer parameter. But it was checking the size of the buffer. And the size of return type is of type size t. Size t is unsigned because it makes absolutely no sense to have a size that's negative. It just doesn't make any sense. But you're using an integer parameter, and your integer parameter could be negative. Your integer should be unsigned, because it makes no sense for it to be signed. And code injection is trivial, but you can make it a little bit more difficult for people to inject code. And if they can just call your function with arbitrary parameters, just push a negative number onto the stack, and now your function misbehaves, that's much easier than forcing them to go in and skip that check. Just as easy to do. But they said, this code has a bug, and if you spot it, you're a true master of programming. And they showed the code, and I was like, size t is unsigned. You could pass a negative integer. And that indeed was the problem. I've just spent way too fucking long writing C++, so that kind of shit, it's baked into my thought process. This code has a problem. Yeah, it's memory unsafe. Because in C++, you have to do all of the safety checks. You have to do them all manually. And when you use a safe language, when you use a language like C# or Java, where you don't have to check that stuff because the system does it for you, you forget how to do it. And if you've never used a language like C or C++ where you had to be type safe, if you've never programmed in assembly and had to look like right at the problem and go, oh yeah, that's why that's bad. If you've never had to do that, you don't even have anything to forget. You just never know how. And you hit that point, it's like, even if you can watch a video like I did and go, I see the problem immediately. And they go, well, that means you're a master programmer. And then I can sit here and beat my fucking head against the wall of how do you make a menu look good for a fucking week and get nowhere. I don't feel like a master programmer. Because that's really that's the problem with human beings, is that we're bad at most things. Like most of the things in the world that could be done, you're bad at those things. You don't know how to do them. You wouldn't even know where to begin. So you get something like this fucking AI garbage, and it can do most things right half the time, which is way better than a human being who can do most things right about 20% of the time. 50% of the time is way better than 20% of the time, because we're stupid about almost everything. The problem is, most human beings develop the ability to be right about certain specific things more like 80% of the time. And your large language model is never going to do that. It's only going to be right about 50% of the time. And it will never get better. It will never improve. It's always just going to kind of sit there and be like as shitty as it is forever. It's amazing that the machine can be right 50% of the time. That's fantastic. But the things that really matter to me, I'm right about way more than 50% of the time. I can't use the fucking bullshit machine for that. That's not something I can rely on it for. You know, I mean, there are things that I can rely on it for. I can tell my Amazon Echo to turn lights on and off. I don't mind that. I don't particularly care if it can turn my lights on and off. Don't give it more power than you want it to have. I would never give a home automation system control over my stove because I have a gas stove. And if I gave the home automation system control over my stove, that would mean giving it control over the gas. That could go very, very badly. So I would not do that. People always go, well, don't you trust it? Don't you trust the machine? because that machine can be compromised. I don't understand the security of that machine. I'm not responsible for the security of that machine, and the people who are responsible for it aren't accountable to me. They don't have to maintain it effectively. If they have a bug in the machine and somebody else can get in and tell my system to do whatever they want, they could tell the system to turn on the gas and suffocate everybody in the house. I don't trust them. I don't trust the intruder. You know, if they could turn my lights on and off, yeah, fuck it. I don't care. I'll unplug the little Amazon thingy. I don't mind that. That's not a problem. People are always worried about something like the AI is going to stab me. The AI can't stab you if you don't give it a knife. On top of that, even if you give it a knife, somebody else must have previously given it arms and hands and some way to chase you around. If they haven't done that, what the fuck is it going to do with the knife? I don't care if my toaster has a gun. It's a toaster. It doesn't have a finger to pull the trigger. I don't fucking care. Well, there's a gun mounted in the toaster. How's it going to aim? Well, we could do this and that. Why are you trying to solve the problem? What's wrong with you? There's so many more important things we could be doing than trying to make a machine that does your fucking thinking for you. And all the examples are so fucking stupid. Oh, hey, Claude, what should I have for lunch? Sandwich? Wow, that's fucking brilliant, man. How much fucking weed do you people... You guys are just on all the fucking drugs, aren't you? Just... I need to read these fucking specs more closely. I need to find some good tutorials. I need to experiment more. I just want to make the menus look good. I mean, how fucking hard is that, honestly?